What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It's your boy Pip, and we are back for another review of a WWE PLE. This time we are talking about Clash in Paris, which just ended about 7 minutes ago. I just wanted to put together my thoughts before I went into this and talked about it. We're going to talk about all the matches, whether or not we feel like it went the right way, things like that. We'll kind of keep it brief. We don't want this to be super long. So let's just jump on in. We'll start with the first match of the night, which was Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Just a regular old one-on-one match. It wasn't bad. It was actually a surprisingly good match. Bronson looked pretty good. Roman did end up winning after hitting Bronson with, the spear, because it's Roman's spear is super protected. It should be. I do think Bronson should have won this match some way, somehow. But after the match is where things kind of got interesting and a little bit weird. Paul Heyman gets in the ring. He's, I guess, consoling Bronson. Roman gets in. Paul tries to acknowledge Roman as his tribal chief again. And it leads us to this interaction that was a little surprising. Roman locked Paul Heyman in the guillotine. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't recall seeing a guillotine from Roman recently. It definitely felt like it was more of his heelish tactic. But nonetheless, gets the Shula Fala, cuts them apart, starts signing shoes, toss them into the crowd. Really fun moment. And then I realize that this light is just an unpleasant color right now. There we go. That's a little bit better. Ends up with a moment where Braun Breaker shows up out of nowhere, hits a beautiful spear. They proceed to jump Roman, multiple tsunamis. Roman gets put on a backboard. They come back, hit multiple tsunamis on the backboard. Finally, after two or three spears, I think, several tsunamis, Jey Uso finally comes out to make the save. Took him way too long, in my opinion. But he makes the save just to also eat a spear. And we get another tsunami on Roman. I would assume this is to write Roman off so that he can go film Street Fighter. And this gave Jey an excuse to be kind of injured later in the night. But we'll get to that later. Overall, I think this was solid. It did the post-match beatdown did help kind of restore a little bit of Bronson Reed's credibility and aura as the big monster, but not as much as a win would have. So we'll have to see where they go from here. But I personally think that it was fairly well done, but still the wrong decision. After that, we got a tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Street Profits taking on the Wyatt Six. I knew that this match was made. I did not realize it was made for Clash. I'm very surprised they added a match 2 nights before Clash, but didn't choose to add the Intercontinental Championship on the men's side. Very strange booking decision to me, but I digress. Ended up with a pretty solid match. Better than I thought it would be. Definitely a lot of teasing on the Wyatt, or the Wyatts trying to get in the heads of the Profits and get the Profits to break up. There was quite a bit of teasing on that. Match came to an end when Dawkins hit that big shoulder check outside of the ring on Gacy, and then or on Loomis. I can't remember who it was on, but then I remember Rowan was behind him, and then Dawkins gets shoulder checked into the crowd. Montez flies over the corner like he likes to, taking out, I want to say Loomis and Rowan. And then goes to put Loomis in the ring. Nikki Cross is under the ring, holds his leg, stopping him from getting in. And we get Sister Abigail from Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas. And then that leads to Loomis and Gacy picking up the win after hitting that beautiful neckbreaker powerbomb combo, which has officially been named the Plague, which I think is a fantastic name for their finisher. This was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. I'm not surprised that the Wyatts retained. I'm curious to see where this goes going forward for the Profits. I am concerned about a breakup for them, if I'm being honest. As much as I like both of them, and I think both of them could have singles careers, we also have seen before what happens when you break up a tag team that has been so ingrained in the tag team division. A lot of times it doesn't work for one or both of the tag team members. So I am concerned, but we'll see what happens. Maybe they don't even break up. After that, we had another fine match, but the one that I cared about the least. We had Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This was the shortest match of the night at just over 13 minutes, which that says a lot. We had 6 matches tonight, and none of them were sub 10 minutes. This and the tag team match, both clocking in just over 13, were the only sub 20-minute matches. All of the other 4 matches ended up being over 20 minutes long. So every match really got some time to flesh out, which I really do enjoy. And I'm hoping that we can continue having more than 5 match cards, but still giving enough time for each match to really get its cadence in. Because we had a 22-minute, a 26-minute, a 24-minute. And if you took all of those and knocked them down closer to 20, that could give you another 12 minutes to work with. That's another match. There's absolutely no reason we couldn't have 7 matches on a card, and none of them have to go below 10 minutes. Half of them don't have to go below 20 minutes. It's very doable. So I'm excited for the prospect of that going forward. Anyway, the Becky Lynch Nikki Bella match was very bog standard, very fine. There was a moment where Nikki Bella very clearly missed her intended springboard kick, and Becky played it off really well, going for a pin. It was fine. Becky did retain. Nothing super special about this match. I actually didn't even watch the whole thing. I walked away to help with some stuff in the house, and I wasn't even pressed about coming back for it because I just didn't care. I knew Becky would retain, and I just wasn't super excited for this match. It's nothing against Nikki Bella. I didn't care. And that's kind of the problem when you have a champion that you know isn't going to lose. You lose interest in the matches. It was what we had with Cody a couple years ago, with Roman for a long time. When you know that a champion's not going to lose until a certain point or in a certain feud, you lose interest in the rest of them. So hopefully they can find better ways to book Becky to keep interest and keep the threat real, because even if she does keep retaining, that's fine. But if I know she's going to retain, I'm less interested in her matches. And that might be a me problem, but I do feel like that is a larger problem for a lot of people. After that, we had another match that was good. I just didn't care about, and that's not their fault. It's the fault of the fact that this has been going on for too long. We had Sheamus versus Rusev in the good old fashioned Donnybrook match. I did say I thought Rusev would win. He did end up winning. It was a pretty good match, back and forth, a lot of good moments, a lot of weapon moments. Match ends with Rusev using the accolade with the shillelagh across the face of Sheamus, and Sheamus tapping out, which is a pretty big deal because Sheamus doesn't quit very often. I think they acknowledged, and I think that they were accurate in saying that this is only the second time he's tapped out in his WWE career. I'd have to fact check on when his first was, but it's a big accomplishment for Rusev. I personally, I know a lot of people are clamoring for this to be like a match of 7 series. I hope this is it. I hope we move on from this. This was a definitive win for Rusev in Sheamus's staple match. Granted, Sheamus is actually 2-2 in this match type, and if you count the bar fight he had with Jeff Hardy right before they started doing these, he's actually 2-3. But I digress. Move on. Let Rusev do something new. Let Sheamus do something new. And let's break away from this. After that, we had the John Cena versus Logan Paul match. A fantastic match. Personally, in my opinion, probably best match of the night, which is crazy to say. But it was really good. Great counters, great storytelling, great chemistry between the two of them, honestly. Eventually, we got to the end of the match. Cena hits a AA, goes for a second AA. He goes for the super AA, gets countered. Logan goes for the crossbody. Cena does the classic Mark Henry spot where he catches and rolls through, picks him up over the shoulders, hits the AA, goes to pick him back up for another one. Logan counters into the knockout punch, goes for a second one. Cena ducks that one, hits another AA. That was the finish of the match. I think it was clean. I think that this is something Brett and I talked about. Logan Paul is proving himself to be a fantastic wrestler. And if he can maintain a full-time schedule and can be more consistent on being on weekly television and having weekly televised matches, not just PLE things, I think he has a very promising career. He could have a face turn down the future. Not right now. He's still very unanimously hated, but he is insanely talented. And the biggest takeaway from this match is that he looked amazing losing tonight or today. Logan Paul is, if he wants to be, if he decides to be full time, he is the future of pro wrestling, and I mean that. He is that talented. And then that brings us to our main event, the Fatal 4-Way for the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight, all challenging for Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. The rest of the Vision, the stable for Seth Rollins, banned from ringside. And actually enforced, because we were told that if Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed showed up despite being banned, then they would be suspended without pay. So they didn't show up. There was no show up from them. A lot of people thought that this is where we were going to get the debut of a fourth man. And maybe we kind of did. If you think about it in a way, there was a fourth man. But I digress. We'll get to that. The match was pretty good. A lot of good moments back and forth. Alliances that were short-lived, and a lot of close calls, a lot of near falls. We get towards the end. Seth hits a big stomp on Punk. Punk hits a GTS on Jey Uso. Looks like he's going to get the win. Seth hits a stomp on Punk, goes for the pin on Punk. Punk kicks out. Seth gets out of the ring, hits a stomp on Jey, hits a stomp on LA, takes them both out, gets back in, gets caught with a GTS, the spot that they've been kind of overusing where he bounces off the ropes and Punk falls to his knees, and Seth lands on his shoulders. He stands up, gets ready to go for it, and here comes the fourth man. Low blow. It's revealed to be none other than the man, Seth Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch. Rollins hits a stomp, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. And the show ends with Seth and Becky celebrating together as Seth retains his world title. This leaves a lot of questions going forward. Did Becky do this just to help her husband, or is she a part of the Vision now? Does this mean that we have a reason to continue to believe that maybe AJ Lee is going to make that return that we've all been clamoring for? It leads to a lot of questions going forward and a lot of exciting potential going forward. So I'm very curious where this goes. I overall think Clash in Paris was surprisingly exciting and fun for a show that we thought was going to be mostly a throwaway because of the fact that it's the last PLE on Peacock. And that it feels like they've been saving everything for WrestlePalooza next month. But overall, I think the show was actually pretty good. None of the matches were bad. I had low excitement levels for 2 of them, but the other 4 were actually really fun, really enjoyable. I think that only one match really had the wrong winner, and that's Bronson Reed losing. I think everything else, probably the right choice. And even with that, they managed to make Bronson Reed look really strong on the way out of that. So overall, great show for a B-tier PLE. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys enjoyed, disliked, what your favorite match was, least favorite match, and what you're hopeful for coming out of this for individual storylines and things like that. And that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed Clash in Paris. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And with all that being said, as always, I'm Pip. Y'all are the greatest. And when in doubt, we'll see you next time. See ya.